Working Interferences is intended for mature audiences. Since the hosts never grew up, someone needs to be the adult. Welcome to Working Interferences with Josh and Lance, the dental advice podcast for the average dentist. Here is Josh and Lance.
Raz, what is up? Welcome to the Working Interferences podcast, a dental advice show. I'm Joshua Austin.
And I am Lance Timmerman.
We are in our experimental phase of the show, Lance, trying a lot of new stuff during this period. Hope you guys are okay with that.
Yeah, my experimentation is apparently after college.
Yes, that's right. I think it's supposed to be, it's supposed to be like, I don't know what, like second year of college probably.
That's what I was told.
First year, you're really kind of just figuring out what you're doing, living alone or living outside of the house for the first time.
Freshman 15.
And then, like, fourth year, you're like, you're a little bit more mature. So that's probably not the time. But that's second year probably.
Yeah.
I would say. Last time we did your quarantine playlist part 1. We got all the way to the Fs. in like an hour and 48 minutes. So we got to Floor, F-L-O-R, the band from Hood River, Oregon?
Oregon, yeah.
Was it Hood River? Is that what the name of the city was?
Yeah, it was. Good pull.
I'm assuming that every city in Oregon just has the name River in it. I mean, obviously
there's quite a few.
Portland, but yeah.
There are a few, yeah.
So where are we picking up here, Lance?
G.
Is that the name of the band, or are we picking up with the letter G?
The letter G.
Is this Sesame Street? Is this turning into Sesame Street?
Well, this is brought to you by the letter Y, but and the number 4. But
nice.
So should I just go straight to the first
let's
one?
Hit
in
it,
G?
man. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's hit it.
Are you familiar with a band called Gene Loves Jezebel?
I know. I do not.
Oh, okay. Well, it's an 80s group. It was these identical twin brothers, Jay and Michael Aston from Wales. And they were kind of a pop hair metal-ish group, sort of. They had the image of that, but they were a little bit more in the college radio scene. And they had a couple minor hits, 20 Kilohertz and Desire and Jealous. But of course, I went for none of those. And I went for the song Influenza.
Why do they have a song named that?
That's a really good question. But, I understand a coronavirus is not the flu. However, it just seemed appropriate.
I'm looking at their pictures. It does look like a couple of kids went into like a glamour shots. There's a lot of like feathers and weird bandanas.
Yeah.
And a very androgynous group, I would say, these two. A
bit, yeah.
It's kind of from that sort of 80s rock time where there was a lot of androgyny going on.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think the identical twin brothers just kind of confused the whole thing.
Very weird, except they do not look identical at all because they have completely different hairstyles.
Well, one parts his hair on the right and one parts his hair on the left.
The one I'm looking at does not part his hair. He has like bird feathers woven into them and has on like full makeup. Full makeup, eyeliner, the Paul Goodman eyeliner, all of it.
Nice.
All right, let's hear Gene Loves Jezebel. All right, not bad.
Okay, yeah. The next one is actually got me an answer right on trivia night. I used to do Wednesday night trivia nights.
That trivia ass is dead, Lance.
That's
dead.
For sure. For the foreseeable future.
You're making me depressed.
A little bit. That just, buckle up. Just get used to this one. It's the new normal. You ever heard of a band called Glass Tiger?
No, but I mean, tigers are all the rage right now.
It's kind of with Joe Exotic and the whole bit. Yeah. They're from Newmarket, Ontario. So it's just north of Toronto. And they had a song, Don't Forget Me When I'm Gone.
Don't forget me when I'm gone. My heart will break. I have loved you for so long.
And so if I get the Rona and I'm gone,
we won't forget you, Lance. We will not forget you. You'll never be forgotten.
Awesome. Next up was as a band from London, from way back in the UK. Another back to the British stuff. You ever heard of the group Go West?
Yeah.
Okay, so they kind of got their big hit was on the soundtrack for Pretty Woman.
Okay.
But the album before that was We Close Our Eyes.
We close our eyes, we never lose a game. Imagination never lets us take the blame. We close our eyes to see the final flame. We close our eyes.
That was kind of their first hit.
And that's the song you're picking, We Close Our Eyes?
We Close Our Eyes, because I just want to close them and make this all go away. Go back to work.
It looks like they a 2-person band. It looks like. Wow, really nice mullet on one of them. And then the other one has like the Don Johnson blazer, little too big, but sleeves folded up on it. Very, very 80s. Like this is This
came
is
on the
as
scene
80s
late
as
80s.
it gets. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. This is as 80s as it gets.
For
Still
sure.
around. It looks like though. Here's a picture of them older. One of them looks like Woody Harrelson, and the other one looks like if Elon Musk had Down syndrome. That's sort of what the other one looks like.
Okay. Could possibly. All right. The next one is a group from Buffalo, New York. You know any
Finally,
bands
an
from
American band in this bitch.
Yeah.
I know who this is. Let me guess. I know who this is. There's only one band I know from Buffalo, and it starts with a G.
Well, we are in the G's. So
Is it Goo Goo Dolls?
it's the Goo Goo Dolls.
Yes.
Do you know why they have a name, the Goo Goo Dolls?
Is it the candy Goo Goo clusters? Does it have anything to do with them?
No, I think that came from Nashville. But
Yes, it did. Yeah, for sure.
The Goo Goo Dolls, it was a True Detective ad for a toy called a Goo Goo Doll.
Okay.
And apparently they
Nice.
saw the ad and said, that's us.
I saw them live. We have this old historic theater here in San Antonio called the Majestic Theater. It's kind of like dates back to like the 30s, like vaudeville, and it's all Art Deco on the inside. Super cool.
Was that the movie with the Liar Liar dude? What was his name?
Jim Carrey.
Yeah. Wasn't there a movie, The Majestic?
It was called The Majestic, yeah, and it had a movie theater in it. I think was the point of the movie. Different deal. But the Majestic Theater is kind of one of those famous old theaters, like the Orpheum, and there's a lot of these around the country that are famous old theaters. Majestic Theater is one of them, and it's like going to a library where it's a historic place where they typically do Broadway shows. So all the people that work there, all the ushers and whatnot, are all 75 years old and above.
Like the Walmart greeters.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly like you retired and you like show tunes or some shit. So you go like show people where their seats are at the Majestic. And it's also one of those places like it was a skinnier time in America because the seats are super skinny. And you're just like, yeah, this would never this would be American with Disabilities Act now. It would never work.
Yeah, you can't get a second seatbelt to extend it.
Exactly. Yeah. So I saw the Goo Goo Dolls there like probably in like 2002 or 2004.
Okay.
2005. Like so like right kind of in their heat, right?
Yeah.
And like or maybe towards the end of their heat, somewhere in there. And they, they're very like kind of melodic and they're not like they don't go hard, it doesn't seem like, And for some reason, they just went really hard this show. And they started really hard. So they played all their sort of like Iris and all of that slide and all that stuff kind of in the middle. And they started hard and they ended hard. And I remember the look on those old people faces when like the lights go out and they like rock concert started it. And that's not what these old people were expecting. These ushers, they're like running for the lobby to get out of there. It was great.
That's funny.
Which Goo Goo Dolls are you picking?
I'm picking Better Days.
Yeah, we need some of those.
Because there were, I remember the Better Days for now.
Yeah, it wasn't that long ago.
It wasn't that long ago, but it might be a while.
It might be a long time.
Which kind of leads into my next one. We've talked about this group before, the group Group Love.
I fucking love Group Love. I saw Group Love live at Sam's Hamburger Joint in San Antonio, which is
Hamburger,
which is literally like a hamburger restaurant. But they have this like small little outdoor kind of area that can fit maybe 800 or 1,000 people.
Okay.
And so I saw Group Love like at a venue like that. It was so great. It was after, I'm trying to think, I'm looking to see what album they were pushing at the time. Let's see here, Group Love albums. It would have been... Oh, you know what it was? It was right after I got divorced. Okay. So it would have been the Never Trust a Happy Song album.
Gotcha.
Which is kind of the one that has a couple of their big hits, Tongue Tied.
Tongue Tied was awesome.
Some of those other ones. Yeah, I love Group. They're really good. Another band has a woman in the band, and she does a lot of vocals on...
She does. She got a really big mouth.
Which is great. Yeah,
I actually flew out to Iowa to see them in concert, doubleheader with Young the Giant, to see it with Clint. And after the show, Clint had a patient who owned a bar across the street, and we went over there, and Group Love was hanging out.
No,
so we took pictures with them.
Oh, that's awesome. They are.
I was wearing my Manchester United shirt, and the drummer apparently is a big fan of Manchester United, so he liked my shirt, and we hung out.
So, which Group Love song are you picking?
Welcome to Your Life.
But nothing ever comes without a change. Welcome to your life. Yeah. It could be a fantasy. Yeah. Welcome to your world, my girl. Let it be your fantasy. Oh yeah. We're back in business.
So this is the new normal. So welcome to your quarantine.
Where are they from? Does it say?
L.A. Yeah.
Oh,
Los
they're
Angeles.
from an LA band.
Yeah.
I'm assuming when it's an LA band, that means they all came from different parts of the country and they just met in LA.
I think that's usually how it works.
Yeah.
Quite often.
That would be my guess. That would be my guess.
My next group, you're familiar with the band Guadalcanal Diary?
No, it sounds like a documentary on the History Channel about World War II.
Almost. It's funny. They're from Marietta, Georgia, but most people think they're from Athens because they kind of came onto the scene or at the same time as REM and had a similar sound. And so some people confuse Guadalcanal Diary with REM, but they're not.
There was a movie called Guadalcanal Diary, came out in 1943.
And I think that's probably where they got their name.
I would guess so. Yeah.
I would think.
Had William Bendix in it. If you're a big William Bendix fan,
not so much. No, can't say I am. But because of the quarantine, I thought of them because the song "Always Saturday."
Where it's right today, where it's always this way, where it's always Saturday, a chorus of laughter fills the air.
Because it's right now.
kind of feels like that. It's like I don't know what day it is.
Yeah, I had to look at my phone today and go, "Oh, today's Sunday."
Yeah, Andrea said that this morning. She woke up and she thought it was Monday. Like, nope, it's Sunday. She's like, shit, yesterday was the longest Saturday of all time. Today's going to be the longest fucking Sunday of all time. Like,
No shit.
Yep.
No shit. So,
nice.
Next up is a cover of a guy named Gus Black. His real name, I believe, is Anthony Penaloza. He's from L.A., and he's covering Blue Oyster Cult's classic, Don't Fear the Reaper.
So come on, baby, take my hand. We'll be able to fly, 'cause baby,
So, I mean, obviously, like one of the most famous SNL sketches of all time. I mean, really.
There's a little bit less. There's less cowboy in this one. Cowbell in this one.
Cowbell, yeah. And
just
less cowboy as well.
And, well, I'm not sure.
Where do you stand on BOC?
They're fine. I really don't know their discography very much. But what I've heard, I like.
I think they're one of those bands, and a lot of 70s bands fall into this.
Mm-hmm.
You got to be fucking high to really get into it. Like, that's how I feel about Steely Dan.
Oh, yeah.
I have friends who are super into Steely Dan, and I listen to it, and I'm just like, wow, I don't get it. But I guess if I was blazed, maybe I'd get it. I don't know.
Yeah, which I think would help with a lot of things as well, including Steely Dan.
Like the quarantine?
So, yeah, Oh, fun fact, my new apartment's only across a parking lot from a dispensary, so I can go to Bud Hut whenever I feel like it.
Yeah, buddy. It's called Bud Hut?
Uh-huh.
Oh, God, that's so good.
I had a patient from Belgium, and so they went into a dispensary, and they're like, oh, my God, it's been legal there for so long, but it's still just kind of an undergroundish, grungy thing, and the stores we've got here are just these glamorous, and they were just blown away with the way the dispensaries are and the product choices and everything. We're at a new level compared to the way it is in Amsterdam.
Nice. Gotta love it. I'm expecting a care package at some point, Lance.
There you go.
I'll send you money. I will Venmo Lance.
They call me the enabler.
I love that.
So next up is a band called Guster. You familiar with Guster?
Fucking love Guster. We're on like a run of bands I've seen live. I saw Guster for the first time probably 2002, opening for John Mayer in Austin cool. at a little outdoor venue, where I noticed that the drummer doesn't use drumsticks. He has a whole drum kit, normal drum kit, but doesn't use any sticks, just uses his hands.
Really? Wow.
Kinda different.
Okay.
Yeah.
I saw Guster. They opened for Bare Naked Ladies a few years back.
Nice.
It was a very fun show.
I feel like now Bare Naked Ladies should be opening for Guster.
Yeah, probably at this point. But I chose Bad Bad World.
Take it back, say it's not what you thought. Grab a hold, take these melodies with your hands, write a song to sing. It isn't such a bad, bad world that I say.
Because right now, did you crack another one?
Peach
go.
Bubbly.
Peach.
Which is
nice.
probably the gayest thing I've ever drank on this podcast so far. What was the Guster song?
Bad Bad World.
Yeah. They also had a song that became pretty popular from it was a movie soundtrack, and it was nominated for it was not the song, but the movie was nominated.
Oh, okay.
For Best Picture a few years ago. It had Mark Ruffalo in it. It was like The Kids and I. The Kids Are All Right. Is that what it was?
Okay.
Yeah, The Kids Are All Right. They had a very prominent song in The Kids Are All Right. Like I think it was like an opening credit song. Where it's like really hugely prominent in the movie. And I remember like being at the movie theater, being like, "Fuck yeah, it's Guster, yeah!" And
cool.
and no one knew what I was talking about. They yelled at me to shut the fuck up.
Yeah, I get that a lot.
Nice.
Get that a lot. Next up, back to my favorite city, Manchester, the Happy Mondays. And kind of going along the Always Saturday kind of thing, this is a song called Holiday. Holiday. Not quite the Madonna version.
Celebrate. No, not that one?
No. A little less Madonna. Yeah.
I'm looking at the Happy Mondays. Very British group of people. Lots of class twos. Lots of weird British faces.
Yeah, they were back in the baggy era. Stone Roses and
you can kind of tell.
Yeah. So very famously, right on the cusp of making it huge, the lead singer just kind of pulled the plug on the whole bit and went on a bunch of heroin for a couple months.
Hey, it happens. I might do that.
We got nothing but time.
Nothing else to do.
Yeah. Another band out of New York. You familiar with Helmet?
Is it Helmut with the U?
No.
Helmut?
No, E.T.
Okay.
Yeah, Helmet. From New York. The song In the Meantime, because right now, there's nothing else to do in the meantime.
Also, tough SEO band helmet. Because when you search helmet, that's not like their name. Like you search Guster, they're the first fucking thing that comes up. You search helmet, like, would you like to find a helmet for sale near you at Target? Like, no, the band, dumbass. So you have to type like helmet the band.
Yeah. They were pretty much. I was only familiar with the one way back in like 91, 92. It was very heavy guitar. It was like right when grunge was waking up and becoming a thing. So not really part of the grunge scene, but had a grungy sound to him.
Their lead singer is a man, but his name is Page.
I did not know that.
Which is interesting. Page, like turning the page of a book.
Interesting. It's a very unusual, both in the spelling and the gender. But
yes.
Next up, a group I'd mentioned before, out of Australia, the Hoodoo Gurus.
I'm trying to Google these people to find things. Help me. How do you spell Hoodoo Gurus?
Hoodo Guru. Yeah,
that's it. Which song? Which song you got here?
Death Defying. Because that's us. If we ever get to go back to work, we will be death-defying.
Yeah, I went and bought some. Respirators.
Did you?
I have
N95s?
a feeling. I had one box of N95s that I've been using for emergencies.
Okay.
And they're a size small, so they're super tight on my face, not very comfortable. I bought like a 3M P100 respirator.
Oh, wow.
Which I think... So Andrew and I had this conversation the other day.
Okay.
What happened after 9/11 governmentally? Like, what changed governmentally after 9/11? What did we get after 9/11?
Homeland Security.
And there's another that's not connected to Homeland Security, but another governmental entity that we've had to deal with even still to this day. They wear blue shirts, and they're a real pain in the ass.
Oh, the TSA?
TSA came from 9/11, right? That was the governmental knee-jerk reaction.
Well, they were already there. They just changed.
They weren't TSA. It was airport security. It wasn't TSA.
Okay.
And they were all of a sudden granted all kinds of power, right, as a response to 9/11. Now, would you blame 9/11 on airport security? No, of course not, right? Like 9/11 happened because the FBI didn't coordinate and didn't communicate with the CIA, and tracing all the way back to the United States assisting Afghanistan in their fight with the Soviets and then pulling out. Like, I mean, it was a long line of things that led to 9/11.
Right.
And then we got TSA out of it, right?
Okay.
But it was easy to say, like, it was easy to make airport security the scapegoat and show everybody how much we're doing by putting this new agency, the TSA, where everyone can see them when they go to the airport, right?
Right.
The response to this is going to be PPE. There will be some kind of new, I don't know if it's OSHA or if it's, because Homeland Security existed before 9/11 in different forms. There was a National Security Agency and there's all kinds of stuff, and it
expanded
sort of correlated.
Their powers.
Right.
And, yeah.
So I don't know if it's going to be OSHA or if it will be expanding OSHA's power and reach, or if there will be a different agency that's in charge of PPE. But there will be a PPE czar and a PPE something group. And our PPE standards are going to get raised. So get used to working with N95s or respirators. It just is what it is.
Big freaking face shields and
exactly.
body condoms. Yeah.
Exactly. So I got all of that stuff. I got 4 sets of them for when we are given the okay. I think the caveat for us to start working again is, caveat being, you can start seeing patients again. However, you have to have this checklist of PPE, which at that point, then you've got 50,000 dental practices all trying to get that stuff at the same time. I'm trying to get a little ahead of the curve. So I got the 3M P100 respirators. I got face shields, and I got a bunch of gowns and stuff like that. So I'm ready to roll. I even ordered scrubs because I'm assuming that that's going to be the new thing, is that we're going to be required to wear scrubs and change at the office, all that garbage. I just think that's coming. I think that's what comes out of this. That's the TSA out of this. We don't have something this major that disrupts human life like this without having some governmental knee-jerk reaction, and that's going to be it.
And you haven't had anybody virtual signal you saying you need to donate all the stuff that you've got so that
Here's the
people...
thing. I thought we were told the reason we had to shut down was that our PP didn't do anything against this.
I know.
Right?
Uh-huh.
So why do I need to donate stuff? That isn't effective in this anyway.
Yeah, well, and I had this one person just out of the blue, not even a patient or nothing. She went on my Facebook professional page and said that I needed to donate everything. In fact, I needed to also take photos of me doing it to prove that I did it.
Who is this person?
I don't know. I blocked her. Said, go fuck yourself.
I was going to say, that's an immediate block. If you
Yeah.
fucking message my office and tell me that, I'm like, just
No,
listen.
they didn't message. It was a public post. So I had to block her, ban her, and go fuck yourself, bitch.
Blocked and banned.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's my deal. So I would say, I would consider doing this. I got sort of the idea to get the respirators from our friend and CEREC educator Mina Barsoom in Chicago, who sent a picture to a little group chat that we have of him in the respirator with the face shield and the loops and the surgical turban and all that kind of stuff that we're supposed to, sort of all of that stuff. And he said, huge advantage to wearing this respirator mask is that you can say fuck all you want into the mask and no one can hear you. So you can literally, like Lance, it is your dream.
Nice.
You can just be like, this fucking tooth, this motherfucker, God damn it. And just like, no one will hear what you're saying. So
perfect.
It is going to be hard when we have to ask our assistant, like, can you do this? Can you get that?
Yeah.
That's going to be tough. But
Yeah.
silver lining, drop the F-bomb all you want, buddy.
Oh, it's a beautiful thing.
All right.
Thanks. Thank you, Rona.
After Hoodoo Gurus, where we go?
Southampton, UK.
Oh.
A gentleman by the name Howard Jones. You're familiar with Howard Jones?
Jones.
He had a few hits in the early...
Was he a defensive back for the Detroit Tigers? No,
In a
the
former
Detroit
life.
Lions. Jesus.
No, he actually had a couple of hit songs in the mid to late 80s. Kind of the synth pop kind of guy.
Yeah, he's oof. It's not a good look.
Yeah, and he hasn't aged well either.
He's got a weird looking British head. Let me put it that way.
Okay. So I chose the song "Things Can Only Get Better."
And do you feel scared? But I won't stop and falter. And if we throw it all away, things can only get better.
I guess that's true. They literally. Well, I don't know.
Well,
I hate to say that.
Yeah. Well, I hate when I've tried never to say, can't get any worse than this, because usually karma says, hold my beer. And suddenly, So, but next up is a band called Hum. You're familiar with Hum from Champaign, Illinois?
I am not familiar with Hum. I do remember this song by Crash Test Dummies. Do you remember that big hit song?
Yeah.
Where the guy just hummed for 3.5 minutes? That was a hit song?
I know. That was kind of
Why am I
surprised.
not a recording star, Lance?
I know.
So this
I
is
know.
not that.
It is not that. This is a band named called Hum. And
Again,
the song
another tough look SEO-wise for this band.
Yeah. That'll make it a little more of a challenge. The song I chose is I Hate It Too.
Yeah. Yep.
Because, God damn it.
Yeah. All righty,
All
next
right,
one.
So back to Manchester, the In Spiral Carpets.
In Spiral Carpets.
And they were kind of big on the scene late 80s, early 90s, when the alternative kind of college radio became their indie charts were our college radio and stuff. So I chose the song This Is How It Feels.
Husband don't know what he's done. Kids don't know what's wrong with mum. She
is. This is how it feels to be part of the new
limbo.
normal.
Yeah, in total limbo.
Yeah.
There is I found a great station on SiriusXM that reminds me of the college radio station at UT Austin.
Okay.
It's on XM. It's channel 35. It's called XMU. And it's so good. I never really knew about it before. But man, there's some great stuff on that station. And it is like, it's just even down to, college radio DJs. I don't know if it's like shitty equipment or what, but it's almost very public radio. It's almost very like NPR. Like they talk really quiet like this. It sounds like in a very quiet room. Like even that part of it, like is it like they nail that too, which I think is weird. I don't know. I'm assuming these are all people who probably worked at college radio stations before, so they know how to do it. But
sure.
It just like, even just the interstitial like dialogue from the DJs sounds like college radio, which reminds me of 1997 and a lot of Bella Fleck and the Flecktones. The UT University radio station used to play a lot of Bella Fleck. Bella Fleck.
Not familiar with Bella. Not familiar. Interesting.
Nice.
Staying in the UK, The Jam. Were you familiar with the mod scene with Paul Weller and that?
Lance, would it surprise you for me to tell you no, I was not?
Okay. All right. Well, The Jam was pretty influential. Paul Weller influenced a lot of the Britpop and things. They're from southwest of London, a place called Woking, or Woking. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. But the News of the World.
Don't believe it all. Find out for yourself. Check before you spread. News of the world. News of the world.
Woking, yeah.
Woking.
Paul Weller was famous for having that haircut that like the Oasis brothers, the Gallagher brothers kind of had. It was just real plain and bangs and boxy kind of look to it. That's Paul Weller's head. So,
what year are we talking here? Because I'm looking at these guys and they're in like suits and skinny ties. Like besides the hair, I mean, they do look like it's early 60s.
It would be early 70s is really when the Jam did their thing. They broke up right in the early 80s, and Paul Weller went off to start the Style Council, and then they were very political, and then he just kind of went solo in the 90s and stayed solo ever since.
Okay. Yeah, but they're like in almost every picture they have on, like black suits, skinny ties.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Looks like the cover of their band or the cover of their albums are a lot like that.
Yeah, he's called the Mod Father. Did you ever see Quadrophenia? It was kind of so there was the mods versus the rockers. So he was he would be like king of the mods.
Okay, nice.
That was Paul.
Nice.
So staying nearby Manchester, the band called James. You familiar with James?
I am not. Again, tough SEO look for these guys.
Yeah.
These guys, it's almost like these bands in the 70s weren't thinking about their fucking SEO at all in their search engine optimization.
None. Although James, they're from the 90s. A fairly well-known song was a song called Laid.
Noises above, but she only comes when she's on top. My therapist said not to see you no more. She said you're like a disease without any cure. She said I'm so obsessed that I'm becoming a bore. Oh no, I think you're so pretty.
Because there's not much else to do while you're in a quarantine.
Oh, I get what you're saying. Yeah. I get what you're saying. So you're saying we should all lay some railroad tracks.
That's where I'm going. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it looks like Laid was 1993.
Yeah, something like that.
Yep,
sounds
early
right.
90s. Yep.
Yeah.
98% of Google users gave that album a thumbs up.
Nice.
Pretty good.
It was a good album. I like that
Yep.
one. Next up, staying in the UK, is Jesus Jones.
I remember Jesus Jones.
And you probably remember this song. Right Here, Right Now.
Woman on the radio talks about revolution when it's already passed her by.
That's the one. Now, was he a real one-hit wonder?
He had probably
or was
two
there
or three.
other stuff that? Okay.
Yeah, there were that first album had like 3 or 4 really good songs. I liked International Bright Young Thing and Real and Trust Me. But Right Here Now
was like a mega hit.
Yes, that's a hard one to top.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was them and EMF were kind of
around the same time. Yeah, for sure.
Similar style and such.
Yep.
The next one, you know the name Jimmy Somerville.
Sure.
He's from Glasgow, Scotland, but he was part of Bronski Beat. Did you ever hear of Bronski Beat? And then Communards?
No, I'm looking at this picture of Jimmy Somerville. Really tough anterior bridge. Really bad bridge. Not good. It looks like not enough space, and so they made all the teeth really skinny. I'm trying to fit an extraponic in there, it looks like.
That could be.
Looks like really typical garbage British dentistry.
Yeah. Sings a lot of falsetto when he's singing.
Okay.
So,
that bridge is handy then.
Probably, a little bit. Mm-hmm. I chose a song, Comment te dire adieu.
Comment te dire adieu. Tu as mis à l'index nos nuits blanches, nos matins gris-bleus. Mais pour moi, une explication devrait mieux. Sans aucun prétexte, je n'ai peur. Des bons temps sur l'ex, nous aimer mieux. Derrière un Kleenex, je serai mieux. Comment te dire adieu?
And
Let's walk
French.
through that one again.
Comment te dire adieu? How do I tell you goodbye?
Oh, okay.
So if we're all going to die, how do I tell you goodbye?
Your French is pretty good.
Oh, thanks.
I
did live there for a while.
Yeah, and you did message me saying you do want to be our tour guide for Paris.
Hells yeah.
If and when we ever get to go there.
Yeah, if they ever lift this travel ban, how's this for? I don't think it's going to happen. All my daughters are graduating in June, and so at the end of June, we have tickets to Italy.
Yeah, that ain't happening.
Landing in Italy, home from Greece, and
Nice.
I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah,
so
probably not. Sorry, buddy.
yeah. Next up, John Mellencamp,
The Coug.
John Cougar Mellencamp.
I don't know anybody. So he's changed his name so many times.
Yeah,
It's John Mellencamp to John Cougar Mellencamp to Cougar Mellencamp, and then out of the Cougar.
Yeah, well, he originally was just John Cougar because back in the day, no one's going to like Mellencamp, so he went to, and he actually couldn't get any radio play here in America, so he kind of got big in France and was able to then get enough airplay to be played here.
And which, obviously, is it Jack and Diane is what everybody knows.
That's what they all know. Yeah, I'm doing Crumbling Down.
Come tumbling down with the walls. Come crumbling, crumbling with the walls. Come tumbling, tumbling down.
I don't know that one. What year
really?
are we talking?
This would be 83, probably right around the time
early.
of Jack and Diane. Yeah.
Okay. Where's he from?
Indiana.
Okay, that seems right.
Yeah, right in the heartland.
I need him to be from the Midwest. Like, if he was from, like, fucking Hoboken, New Jersey or something, I'd be pissed off.
Yeah. No, he's seen, for about 4 months, he was engaged to Meg Ryan.
So, interesting 4 months, I guess.
Yeah, somehow he was...
We talk about Meg Ryan a lot on the show.
We kind of do.
This is the first time we've ever brought her up not talking about how the time she had an orgasm in a restaurant. So can someone wipe down this fucking booth? Meg Ryan just sat here.
Yeah. You got to be careful. Definitely.
All right, next one after the Coug.
Yeah, do you know a band named Johnny Hates Jazz?
I don't, but I actually like jazz, so I don't know about this.
Okay, well, they're not really jazzy. This is a late 80s just pop song called Shattered Dreams.
It looks like they're British. If you look at their album cover, I don't know what album this is. It's so gay. It's the lead singer, I guess. And he is standing in a very flamboyant kind of way with his hand on a hip. And then the other, he's got other ones behind him. Oh man, that's a really tough look. Turn Back the Clock. It's the cover of Turn Back the Clock. If you look that up, it's super homoerotic.
Yeah, it's the only album cover that comes to mind whenever I think of Johnny Hates Jazz. So
nice. I'm looking forward to hear this one.
Okay, yeah, Shattered Dreams, very very 80s. It's total 80s sound. The whole bit.
Yeah.
Next up from Leeds, England, is the band called Kaiser Chiefs.
Kaiser Chiefs.
Yeah, and I almost chose I Predict a Riot, but I decided to go Hole in My Soul.
And everybody gave up until we start from the top again. Take it all from the top, the top, the top, the top. There's a hole in my soul that could only be filled by you again. There's a hole in my soul that could only be fixed by two. It can never be filled, never be filled.
Yeah.
Because right now, the longer this quarantine continues, the bigger the hole in my soul.
Yes, it is. Looks like they got an Indian guy in the band, just for a little color.
Gotta mix it up. A little
bit of color. Yeah. Where is Leeds? Is that near London?
No, it's north of Manchester.
Okay.
So kind of the Yorkshire.
My assumption is just all of the UK is just a suburb of London.
What kind of?
That does not look like the case really here. This looks like it is a good couple hundred kilometers away.
Yeah, it's not close. They identify more with Manchester and that whole scene up there, the Leeds people. And a big shout out to Phil Reddington, amazing lab technician from Beaver Dental Lab.
Giggity.
Giggity. Not far away is, we talked about Leicester before, a band named Kasabian. You're familiar with Kasabian?
I know Linda Kasabian.
Yeah,
you know who Linda Kasabian is?
That they got their name from, one of the killers in Helter Skelter bit.
Yeah, one of Manson's ladies was Linda Kasabian.
Yeah. So I chose the song "Reason Is Treason."
It looks like they came out of Leicester in 1997, which was around the time, that sort of mid-90s, there was a big romanticism for Charles Manson, it seems like. Because you had Marilyn Manson, you had Shirley Manson, you had all of these bands that coming out that sort of were trying to be edgelords by sort of associating themselves with Charles Manson. And this seems sort of from that same, they're a little bit later, because Marilyn Manson was probably, 95?
Yeah.
Shirley Manson, lead singer of Garbage, was 94, probably.
Yeah, I think so.
So this is kind of around that same. There was this period in the mid-90s where everything Charles Manson was cool.
Yeah. Well, coming back home out of Nashville, Kings of Leon.
I do know Kings of Leon.
Love Kings of Leon. Amazing group. So I'm choosing the song "Around the World."
Nice.
Because I am following the news around the world, trying to find out. Because all the fake news out there, I'm a sucker. I'll read something and I'll immediately start to believe it, and then you start reading it a little bit more. You're like,
well, it's like we got a message last night from a listener, Brandon, who had this article about what was it, 100,000 phone numbers in China were turned off. And so the supposition was that, that must mean 100,000 people, 100,000 phone numbers in China were turned off. So 100,000 people must have died of coronavirus, but that's not what they were, they're obviously not reporting that number. And then I tried to find the same news story from a viable source, and I couldn't find it. Just couldn't find it. It was just all these news websites I had never heard of. And I was trying to look for anything like New York Times, Washington Post, CNN, even Fox News, anything of reasonable. And I couldn't find anything that substantiated it. And it's just fuck, there's so much misinformation.
Yeah, and then that's what sucks is there is so much fake news out there. To really figure out what you can trust, you're trying to apply your own sense of logic to things, but this is beyond.
It's really
being
hard.
able to do that.
It's really hard.
All right, next up, another London band, the Klaxons, or just Klaxons, Klaxon. The song "It's Not Over Yet." Just started, honestly.
Yeah. So they're relatively recent.
Yeah.
They came mid 2000s, 2005. I don't for a new band. I don't know these guys.
Yeah, they're not really well known. Just kind of a mixture of the northern sound, the shoegaze kind of stuff.
Tough band name because it makes it sound like the Klaxons seem like a name of a band that would play at a Star Trek convention. That's just what it sounds like, he's fucking Star Trek cover band or something like that. They just have songs about who's the best captain and this next one's in Klingon. Fucking great, awesome.
We wrote the whole song in Klingon.
Right? Yeah.
Chuck, chuck,
yes. So it's just I think the band name is getting in their way.
Yeah. The next one sounds like the same kind of thing. You ever heard of a band Konkan? Konkan. From Toronto.
No, I haven't heard of them. But again, same kind of thing.
Late 90s, or late 80s.
They don't have a good band name.
No. They had pretty much one hit. It was kind of only well known in kind of the dance clubs called I Beg Your Pardon.
Was a time and there once was a way. We had something going and to my dismay, attention to me seemed to drift, though I don't know where. And when we're alone seems there's nothing to say. I bring up the topic, you push it away. You say that you do, but I think it's just you don't care. Why do I feel you're using me?
look like it's named after the Konkan coast, which is part of the western coastline of India.
Well, all right then.
I did not know that.
Interesting. Another one. Next up, the Kooks. We talked about them before. They're from Brighton, England, and I chose the song "Fuck the World Off."
Get to you, get to you. Let me fuck the world up just for you. Let me do that for you. Walk me to the line, back home, get back home just for you. I think I heard someone on London streets. People to me, people like you. And there will be waterfalls for you to break through if you so choose. I know you think too much to lose. So let me fuck the world up just for you. Let me
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. They are very, very British looking as well. It's just these fucking British guys, man. They just all...
There's a look.
Is everybody in Britain have a class 2?
It was a trend. It was very, very popular for a while. Yeah.
Yeah. Oy vey. All right.
Although dental care in Britain has improved tremendously.
That's what I hear from our friends, our listeners in Britain. But
Yeah.
it looks like no Herbst appliances at all in the UK for about 40 years.
Yeah, it just wasn't cool. Just wasn't cool. All right, back to Toronto. You're familiar with pretty much a one-hit wonder, Len?
Yeah, Steal My Sunshine.
Steal My Sunshine. There you go.
I know it's up for me.
If you steal my sunshine,
Making sure I'm not in too deep.
if you steal my sunshine,
Keep me bursting on my feet.
if you steal my sunshine,
Is that the song you're picking?
That is the song. It feels like...
I'm surprised they didn't have, like, that song was a very, I mean, we're talking late 90s, right? It seems
yeah.
like.
Mm-hmm.
Steal My Sunshine has to be mid to late 90s. That song was such a good song, and just like, I mean, they are kind of a very typical one-hit wonder. Like, you just never fucking heard from them again.
Yeah. It doesn't make any sense. Not sure what happened. I don't know their story at all to know why. You know, that's always
1999.
Okay,
Yeah. I'm trying to figure out how high that song got. It climbed to number 9 on the U.S. Billboard Top 100. Number 9. Seems like it was bigger than that. But
Yeah, it did.
It does say Lynn is considered to be a one-hit wonder.
Yeah. How's this? My daughter, for a couple of seasons in the summer, she had a job at a water slide park, and they played that song apparently all the time.
Yeah.
And she's absolutely sick of it. Can't stand the song because she's lifeguarding and had to keep hearing it.
Yep.
So if I've ever had stuff on random and it comes up, she immediately is fast forwarding, skipping.
Yeah, she wants to skip.
Can't
Skip
stand.
track. Thumbs down. Thumbs down.
Absolutely. All right. Well, back to Liverpool. You familiar with the band The Lightning Seeds?
No.
Okay. Well, I'm using the song Change.
Never gonna be like all those fools. You're going out tonight. There's nothing to lose. You're gonna give it all a try. Don't ever change. Don't ever change. No, never change. Never
Because that's what we're going to be doing. Everything's going to change with our PPEs and everything.
That's what I've been saying. Lance. 19. So if you're coming out of Liverpool, I mean, the biggest band of all time is from Liverpool.
Yeah. You'll never measure
And
up.
you've had probably 10 other bands from Liverpool.
Oh, yeah.
Liverpool it can't be that big of a city, right? I mean,
Surprisingly small. Yeah.
population of 500,000. So that's, I'm trying not to get into like the metro areas and whatnot, but that's like smaller than Austin.
Okay.
That's way smaller than Seattle, smaller than Portland. You're thinking like maybe Dayton, Ohio or something like that, right?
Sure.
how does a city of 500,000 people produce not only the greatest band of all time, but then like just the sheer number of musical acts that have come out of a small city like that? Like that would be like,
I mean, they got the whole
every
Mercy.
musician's from Dayton.
Yeah, the whole Mercy scene, because that river, the Mercy River.
Yeah.
There was just a shit ton of bands from that whole area. It's got to be the water.
Interesting. Yeah, something in that River Mercy.
Yeah.
That's not MRSA?
No. Or it could be both.
Could be both. Maybe it is. Maybe MRSA is what inspired the Beatles.
Could be. Next up, out of Sheffield, England. You ever heard of long pigs?
No. I mean, I've eaten long pigs.
Okay, all right.
But I've never listened to them.
Late 90s was a song called On and On, and by the Long Pigs, or I don't think so just Long Pigs.
And I wish I didn't love you so, 'cause I just can't go on. So please don't do me wrong. No, I won't do you wrong. My love for you goes on and on.
So that's the way the quarantine seems to be, just going on. And it's really only been a little over a week. So I can't imagine continuing.
The
but I'm gonna have to.
term long pig is translated from a term used by Pacific Islanders for human flesh as food.
Really?
Yeah. Which I guess, I mean, they say that like the animal that's most closely related to us, organ-wise, is pigs. We are just long pigs.
We really are. Some longer than others.
Yep. Good to know. That's where that the name of your band that you picked, Lance, came straight from cannibalism.
Hey, it is what it is. Next up is a band called M83. Have you ever heard of M83?
Didn't they do they had a big hit.
Yeah, they had a couple hits, like a movie soundtrack kind of songs.
Yeah, Midnight City.
Waiting for a ride at the door. Night city grows. Look, I see your
That's a big one that I knew. I feel like there's another one. I think it's off of this DSV3. Yeah, I do know that band.
So fun fact, so he's this guy named Anthony Gonzalez.
What?
Yeah, that's his name.
Mijo.
Yeah, Mijo. Anthony Gonzalez. He's from Antibes, France, but he relocated to LA and made it big here. And it's really just one guy, but it's the group M83. But Anthony Gonzalez.
I had no idea the Mijo was out here making electronic music.
Who knew?
Who would have known? That's cool.
Antibes is near Nice. It's kind of a resort town right on the Mediterranean. So
that's where we were hoping to honeymoon. Was do a few 3 days of Paris and 3 days somewhere down in the Riviera somewhere.
Saint-Tropez is fantastic. It's not far either, but it's hard to get to because when you're driving down, you gotta get off the freeway, and it's just meandering road. But once you get to Saint-Tropez, it's awesome, but it's a pain in the ass to get to. So
Europe's a pain in the ass to get to.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
What's up next?
All right, next up is Madness out of London. You know Madness?
I'm experiencing it currently.
A little bit. They had a big hit, Our House in the Middle of the Street.
Our house in the middle of the street. Yeah, of course.
That's
where else
the one.
would your fucking house be?
Exactly. I mean, why put it anyplace else?
Why do we have to have a song about it? I don't know. It's just it sounds like a Sesame Street song. Where do you live? In a house on a street. Cool. Got it. Thanks. Thanks, Madness.
So I chose Tomorrow's Just Another Day.
Say I can't carry on no more. I hear them say tomorrow's just another day. I hear them say it gets better every day. I hear them say tomorrow's just another day. Tomorrow's just another day.
because as these quarantine days go on and on and on, tomorrow's just another one.
It is. It just keeps on rolling. Although I do have a couple of emergencies tomorrow. So
Do you really? Good for
Yeah.
you. Good for you.
I've got a broken tooth that had endo done on it 3 weeks ago, and it's broken and the gutta percha is exposed.
Oh,
That's an emergency because if we just leave it, then it's going to
Absolutely.
get the risk of reinfection goes way up. So why would I not restore that? They just paid for an endo with an endodontist, very nicely done endo. It seems to me like that is something that needs to be done. So come at me, anybody who says that's not an emergency. Now, there's in another group text thread that you're on with me, we saw this guy from Springfield, Missouri or something like that who just built like a $15 million building and it's just running full balls out. And so there's a difference between those two things.
Yeah, absolutely.
Where it's like, hey, we're going to see people who need things. Now, I would consider exposed gutta percha on an endo that was just done to be, hey, if we wait a month, there could be a problem here.
Absolutely.
So I'm doing that. And then I got another emergency call from somebody in pain this weekend. Like, hey, I'm going to see you on Monday.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to turn you away. I'm not just going to throw antibiotics and pain meds at you. Like, let's look at it and see what's happening.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I'm trying to do set up some virtual consultations and do some online stuff. And if I do a consult with you and determine that we really need to see you, then I'll meet you there at the office. And so I got a couple calls lined up tomorrow.
Are restaurants there doing curbside and stuff like that?
Yeah.
So I'm doing curbside bleaching starting tomorrow. I'm not lying.
There you go.
I got some Opalescence Go from our friends at Ultradent, and we're going to do some curbside bleaching. So you can just come to the office, call down. We'll come down with a pack of Opalescence Go and get you going. So when's a better time to bleach? So I'm gonna do a little Instagram video tomorrow and post something for my office Facebook page and kind of pander to the masses, saying support local businesses with curbside bleaching. And
there you go.
Let's see how it goes.
There you go. All right, next up is Mark Almond. Do you know the name Mark Almond?
Well, I know the Almond Brothers. This is not them.
Mark Almond was the lead singer of a group called Soft Cell.
Okay.
Does that sound familiar? You'd probably recognize Tainted Love was their big hit.
Of course, Tainted Love. And then I've also been told that Travis Campbell is an incel. So
there you go. There you go.
I don't know if that's the same.
I believe different, but maybe not. Maybe not. So I chose go ahead.
I just have to rail on Travis Campbell a little bit. Travis Campbell's the most annoying quote unquote practice management consultant in the world. He knows everything.
Practice whisperer.
Whisperer, right. And he posted something on one of the groups, and then Teresa Duncan, who I actually like and has a lot of amazing information, immediately was just like, all of that is wrong. Made me laugh. Like, who am I going to trust more, this incel-looking motherfucker or Teresa? And it's Teresa 100 times out of 100. So
for sure,
don't let the practice whisper about your practice.
No, there's so much misinformation. We don't talk about fake news.
Fake news.
Figure out the source.
All right, so you picked Tainted Love? Is that what you picked?
No. Mark Almond sang a song, Tears Run Rings.
Angel side, a little girl cried. The tears run rings around my eyes. The angel side, a little girl cried. The tears run rings around my eyes.
Because as I cry in my beer, the tears run rings.
1988, it looks like that is.
Yeah.
That's what were you in high school? You were early high school in 88?
No, I graduated 88.
Okay, so because I picked up a lot of songs from like 86 to 89, which I think is sort of like that's, the year you graduate high school, in and around that is kind of your wheelhouse probably.
Yeah.
Yep.
Next up, one of my favorite Canadians, Michael Bublé.
We've talked about.
We have.
I'm drinking a bubbly right now. One time, I don't know if you remember this, we spent 30 minutes talking about Michael Bublé's wife on this show.
Yes.
And that was like my Audacity shit the bed, and we had to edit it down so much that it was like. It was unlistenable, but it was like, well, we got to have something. So we just edited out the whole part of it. And there was a whole bunch of it that didn't make any sense because our audio tracks weren't linked together.
Yes,
and so you would just be answering me and I wouldn't be talking. Really hard. So yeah, we spent a lot of time. There's a lot of Lost to the Ages talk about Michael Bublé's wife And I think we did a full diagnosis on her. Like we did a full treatment plan.
I was so disappointed that we couldn't use the audio because it was good. It was good stuff. He's from Burnaby, which is a suburb of Vancouver. So he's just north of Seattle originally.
We don't even get Michael Bublé. The United States, we get hosed.
No.
We really are. We are fucked musically.
Yeah, pretty much.
Michael Bublé, I'm looking at his smile. Just his Wikipedia picture.
Okay.
It looks really nice. I mean, it doesn't even look like he's had a lot of dentistry done, to be honest with you.
Yeah, he's well put together. He's golden voice and good looking guy. He's got it all.
I bet he's got a small dick. He's got a small dick.
He's got it. He's got to. And the song, appropriate enough, God Only Knows.
God only knows what I'd be without you. If you should ever leave me, the life would still go on, believe me. The world could show nothing to me. So what good would living do me? God only knows what I'd be without you. God only knows what I'd be without you.
God only knows, and his wife probably.
And his wife.
And probably 400 groupies, I would guess.
And yeah, maybe those. Next up, we're going back to Australia. The band Midnight Oil. Familiar with Midnight Oil?
I'm not, other than I know the term burning it.
Okay.
You know, burning Midnight Oil.
They actually had Beds Are Burning was probably their biggest hit. But
I've heard that song. The
okay.
Beds are burning.
Yeah.
I know that one.
Forgotten Years.
How many dreams remain? This is a feeling too strong to contain. The hardest years, the darkest years, the roaring years, the fallen years. These shall not be forgotten years. The hardest years, the wildest years, the desperate and divided years. We will remember.
This
is the song
Forgotten Year.
because these are going to be the forgotten years. We hope
They definitely are.
so. Kind of hand in hand. Back to Wolverhampton, the Mighty Lemon Drops. We brought them up before, and the song "Out of Hand." Right now, it's kind of getting out of hand. This whole pandemic and that whole bit.
Did you see that Dental Economics posted on their website posted a path case that was submitted by our fan and listener Craig Harder? He posted a sialolith case that was like a huge obstruction of like Wharton's duct or something like that. And it had to have an ENT like literally fillet open the duct and take out. It was like a 2 centimeter long sialolith.
Okay.
And it was like the title of it was "When Lemon Drops Don't Work."
And
so I thought that was a good title because I've never really felt that Lemon Drops probably did all that much for sialoliths. It was just like, oh, here's some shit you can do, and when it doesn't work, just let me know. We'll send you over to the oral surgeon or whatever.
Yeah. Next up, there's kind of a little trivia question. Are you familiar with the actor Steve Coogan?
I do know Steve Coogan.
Okay.
I think that he was in "Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead."
Oh, I don't know if he was in that one.
Let me check. Let's look here. Let's look at his filmography.
He was in Tropic Thunder. He was the producer that blew up.
Yes, I remember that. No, I don't. Maybe he wasn't in that. It would have been way back at the early end of his career if he was. I'm going back to the very end.
He's funny guy. He had Alan Partridge was a character of a TV show he had in England, and he's just funny as just a bumbling TV personality. But many roles in in Hollywood. Kind of one of the more character
definitely
actors.
Wasn't that.
Okay.
Definitely wasn't in Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead. That's for sure.
Okay.
Where do I know him from?
What else would you have known?
Oh, he was in the TV movie Monkey Trousers in 2004.
Oh, really?
Sounds like a delight.
Huh. I got a monkey trouser, but anyway.
Oh, he was in Hot Fuzz. Okay.
Yeah.
So I would know him a little bit from that. He was also in Curb. He was in an episode of Curb. So I know him from that. Tropic Thunder, which is probably where another place I would know him from. He was in Night at the Museum.
Yeah.
He was in... Oh, he's in The Other Guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's been in a bunch of stuff, it looks like.
One of those things. You would recognize him kind of thing. Well, he had an older brother named Martin Coogan, who was the lead singer of a band called the Mock Turtles out of Manchester. And so they had a song, Can You Dig It?
Grave.
Yeah. That's what we're going to be doing, digging some mass graves for all the COVID bodies.
Or for our practices, more like it.
Or that too.
Yep.
It can be both. It can be both.
Why can't it be both?
Exactly. Next up is a band called Monaco, which is really when New Order kind of fell apart. The bassist went off and found a guy that could sing that would sound just like Bernard Sumner from New Order. So Monaco sounds like New Order, but isn't.
Nice.
And
so that's right down your...
Yeah.
Why didn't they do that with Oasis? That's what I wanted to know.
I know. I don't know. I do not know. So the song I chose is What Do You Want From Me?
That I would die for. It's when you say my life is in your hands. 'Cause when you're near me, your love is all I need. Now I can't imagine. What do you want from me? It's not how it used to be. You've taken my life away, ruining everything. What do you want from me? It's not how it used to be. You've taken my life away, ruining everything.
Have you ever been to Monaco, the country?
I have several times. Love it.
Okay, so tell me about Monaco, because it's super small, right?
Yeah, like 2 square miles.
So it's between France and Italy?
Yeah.
And you just get there on train?
You can drive. I drove to it.
It looks like it's between Nice and
Italy.
and Menton, and right between. So it's its own country, though.
It's a principality. So yeah.
Is it the smallest country in the world next to the Vatican?
It's similar. Yeah.
Okay.
It's going to be something like that. I think the Vatican's smaller.
And then Princess Grace is from there.
She's American. She married into the royalty there.
Right. But she then she moved there, right? And like lived there and left Hollywood, right?
Yeah. So Grace Kelly marries the Garibaldi and has her have a few kids and then dies in a car crash.
And the entire country of Monaco is basically Monte Carlo. Is that correct?
Yeah, the city Monte Carlo and the country Monaco, kind of the same thing.
Okay, interesting. Yeah. I've always been fascinated by Monaco. I've obviously never been. But it's just weird that it's its own little principality right in basically the middle of France.
Right at the tip of the coast, and it's nothing but a hill. I mean, you're going. It's very, very hilly to drive around, and if you need to turn around, one-way streets. It's confusing and frustrating.
And there's a big race that happens there. Yeah.
Yeah, Monaco Grand Prix every like Memorial Day weekend-ish time of year. So end of May.
I bet we ain't having it this year.
I'm kind of guessing it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Although you could probably have it, just there wouldn't be any spectators because you'll be social distancing.
Yeah, in your car, but I guess the deal is like getting all the people there, all the drivers and all that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably a bad PR move to have it if everything else is all locked down. But yeah, Monaco is a really cool city. In fact, fun story. One time I was driving down, I got a room in Cannes, and but I'm cheap. I'm not a big fan of spending a lot of money on a hotel because I want to be out and about and doing things. And so I just found this really cheap room. It was right next to a real nice place. I don't know if I've told you this before, but it was so hot that I didn't stay in my room. I couldn't go back till it was like 3 a.m. And when I went in, I realized it was probably the wrong place to be. When the only TV channel, the TV worked, but the only channel that it got was porn.
What are you complaining about?
Well, I was like, wait a minute. And then I'm just kind of turned the lights back on and realized, wait, this place is disgusting. If I had a black light, I'm pretty sure the place would just glow.
This was while you were in your refractory period, though, right? Like you didn't. I mean, you obviously like turned on the porn and then did your thing, and then after that, that's when you realized, like, oh, this place is gross.
Yeah, something like that.
You came to your senses.
When you say came to my senses,
literally,
yeah, I did. So I checked out immediately and went to. I was right across the street from the Carlton. Which is the other half of the name Ritz-Carlton. And I went and I said, look, how much for a room? I just need a room to wash up and try to wake up and things. And the guy at the counter, he just says, sir, if you have to ask how much a room is, you can't afford it.
I love it.
I'm like, okay. All right, so I just got in my car and I drove to Monaco and watched the sunrise on the Larvado beach.
Nice. That sounds like a great story. I would see. That's the thing. Like that's one of the things that makes me feel so trapped is like, not being able to do this.
Yeah.
Or, not being able to do something like that. And that's the tough part, I think.
Mm-hmm, for sure. Next up, out of Nashville is a group called Moon Taxi. You ever heard of Moon Taxi?
I've taken a Moon Taxi before.
Have you?
Long ride. It was a long ride. Yeah. And you got to be careful. If you get a smelly one, that's you're in that taxi cab for like 4 days. So
yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah, you got to be careful with the Moon Taxi.
That'll do it. No, I actually
they're
saw
from
them.
Nashville as well. You said right. So shout out to our friend Tom Hadley who had back surgery.
Yeah.
Then a tornado hit his neighborhood, and then COVID hit. So really,
2020 sucks.
Going in threes. Really. So it's all looking up from here, Tom.
I think so.
You'll survive. Yeah.
In fact, I did see Moon Taxi in concert with Tom at the Ryman.
Nice.
In Nashville. It was like 3 years ago. Holly and I we flew out on a Wednesday to see Kenny Rogers' last performance before he retired.
R.I.P.
Yes.
R.I.P. Kenny.
So it was news that he was probably going to be retiring because his health was declining so much. And Holly's like, shit, I've always wanted to see him in concert. This is going to be my last chance. Ends up being he was so ill that he really couldn't perform. So he had like 27 different songs, but he had other performers come out and play one song. Like Chris Stapleton came out and sang The Gambler. And then Lionel Richie came out and sang Lady. And the Flaming Lips came out and sang something else. I mean, we saw 27 different acts. It was one of the most amazing. Yeah, it was so. And so we got there on a Wednesday. I mean, we literally landed and then got to our hotel room to put our bags in to then go to see Kenny. And then we had the rest of the weekend to kill. So we went and saw Moon Taxi with Tom.
Did he serve any roasted chicken at the concert?
It was surprisingly chicken free.
That's a shame.
Yeah.
That's
so
a shame.
All day, all night. is a song that actually has been on some car commercials. So you might recognize the tune.
That's got to be the dream, right?
Yes.
If you're like an indie band like this, you get a car commercial going. That mailbox money's got to be real nice.
Yeah.
We got to figure out a way to get that mailbox money, Lance.
Somehow, I
want that mailbox money.
I can't sing.
Well, I think we just have to put our talents to use.
I don't
just
have talent.
bitching and moaning about stuff.
Okay.
How can
Well,
that
do.
get on the soundtrack for a car commercial? Then we're good. We just figured that that's a good nut to crack, Lance. We got to crack that nut.
We're like the Statler and Waldorf of the freaking
yes of dentistry.
Podcast,
exactly. Yeah. Of dental podcasts, we are Statler and Waldorf. That is correct.
Yeah, for sure. Next up is Morrissey. Sing Your Life.
All the things that you love. Oh, sing your life. The things that you love and the things you love. Oh, sing your life. Oh, sing your life. La, 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 la. Sing your life.
Okay, so Morrissey is a known like total asshole.
Yes.
Like just will cancel concerts at the like if he walks in and he doesn't like the vibe of the furniture in the green room, he'll just like fuck it, I'm out of here. Which I so admire that. I wish I could be like that. Like I just
that's pretty tough.
Oh my god, that would be
pretty
great. Where are you on Morrissey overall? Do you like?
I like, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and fun fact, I still don't understand this, but he speaks to the Hispanic community.
Okay.
Don't know why, but the Hispanics really like him and his music.
Interesting.
I was listening to a podcast. What was it? Dax Shepard, and he was he did Chips, the movie, and his co-star. I just drew a blank on his co-star's name, but a Hispanic guy playing Punch, and so he was a guest on his podcast, and he was trying to explain that he didn't have an explanation, or maybe he was trying to say why it was. But yeah, definitely it was a fact that the Hispanic community has just adopted Morrissey as their soundtrack to their culture.
Mijo, Anthony Gonzalez, speak up.
Yeah.
Let us know on Funny Shit for Dentists and Dental Team members.
Explain it.
You love Morrissey way? Hey, way? You love the Morrissey?
All right. So,
last one for this episode. We're going to break this up into 3 because we're only on M's, and we are an hour and 10 minutes in.
Well, it's perfect. So we'll just finish with this. This will be the outgoing song then. Get the finish M's. My Bloody Valentine from Dublin, Ireland.
I do like My Bloody Valentine.
Nice.
They're from Dublin, eh?
Dublin.
From Dublin. Which My Bloody Valentine song?
Only Shallow.
That's their big hit, I believe.
That is their
right?
big one. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Pretty much.
Yeah. They are, one of those bands that I can almost immediately tell when they're on that it's them, because they just have a very distinctive sound.
Yeah.
Very distinctive sound. Well, it's so far so good, Lance. We are on to the M's. We got a lot of good feedback about this episode, and I have to tell you, I posted about it. Your fucking editing of this of part 1 was just absolutely out of this world. Like,
thank you.
I don't know if you know how like Emmys work. So for the Emmys are weird. When somebody gets nominated for an Emmy, like let's say Jimmy Kimmel gets nominated for Best Late Night Show or whatever.
Okay.
They submit one show, and it's just like one episode of their show, and that's how everything is based on, is that one episode. And so if there was like a Best Dental Podcast sound editing, or production award, like I would submit that episode because it was amazingly edited. You put in a fantastic amount of work into it, and it came out perfect. So
thank you.
I really think a lot of people are enjoying it, and I just wanted to say thank you for putting so much work and effort into it.
Thanks.
It's a labor of love, but
Absolutely.
it is a labor, and I appreciate the labor that goes into that. You're a rock star at this editing shit. You are amazing.
Thank you. Yeah, I definitely had a good time with it, and honestly, it's been a fun distraction from what else is going on here. So,
well, I'm glad, and I'm glad we're going to get 3 whole weeks of content out of it. Although we've got a couple of little bonuses this week for our listeners, so
got some bonus.
I'm looking forward to some boner episodes.
Nice.
So enjoy My Bloody Valentine. Enjoy all the songs on the list. Check it out on Spotify. Lance has this list on Spotify as well. He'll post that in the show notes so that you can find it. Stay sane out there. For Lance Timmerman, I'm Josh Waston. Peace, and celebrate the cheese bags.